Hello and welcome everyone. Thoddius here. We are in the Tag Survival server. Just had another update. We're currently on version 1.5. Um, and reason for that is a couple of fairly significant updates, I would say. Um, we had an update for mechanism, and previously I had some problems. Let me go ahead and go downstairs and I'll show you what I'm referring to. Um, and then I'll give you a tour of the updates on the base. So previously we were having problems with the chemical injection chamber taking input from not only the chemical crystallizer but anything. Um, right now I'm doing a lot of catch up here on stuff that's already been processed, and you can see now that the logistical transporter on forcing pull is sending things straight into the chemical injection chamber, just as it should. I also tested with the chemical crystallizer, sending items directly into it. That is also working. So you can see here, I've been doing a lot of catch up, and so this here is working now. So we need to kind of continue the process now, because before I had to come and manually take all of the crystals and put them into the chemical injection chamber. I don't have to do that anymore. So now it's time to continue the automation system, and so we'll be getting on to that. A couple of other things is in here is the chemical oxidizer. You can see that it is empty. I do have a sulfur dioxide tank that is full in there, and I kind of did that to make sure that if something broke in the system, I would have some sulfur dioxide available to quickly turn into sulfur trioxide. So this is empty as well. I just need to put some more sulfur in there. Not a big deal. We'll get to that really quickly. That's going to be part of the automation upgrade that we're going to be doing here. Everything else here is looking pretty good. Let me see. So the hydrogen chloride tank here didn't really use up too much of it. It holds, what is it, 96,000? The problem we really ran into was here, where we ran out of chlorine. But the chlorine, you can see that it's still going down. Again, it started at 96,000. It's down to 62,000 right now. And that's producing hydrogen chloride, which, because I have this backup tank filled up, we can continue producing hydrogen chloride at the rate in which we need it. So once everything gets caught up down there at that other end, then we should be okay, and we'll actually be able to get some brine in here and keep the process running at a normal speed. And you know what? Let me come out of cheat mode here, because I was in a test world verifying that some of the things were working, which included the chemical injection chamber accepting an input. So in my test world, I went ahead and just cheated in the stuff, still in survival rather than creative, but I cheated myself the stuff to rebuild basically this entire network again, to test and make sure that the whole sequence from brine production all the way down to the chemical injection chamber was working properly. So, also when we look at these, we can now see their power equivalents in RF. I don't remember that being there before, so I think that's something that's been updated as well. So another thing that I did was I took the time to maximize the solar evaporation system here, and it is now at the maximum size of 18. Previously I was like, well, what is this multiplier thing? I had forgotten at the time when I was thinking of it, but I remember now. The multiplier is based upon your biome. Depending on what biome you are in will determine what that multiplier is. So in a desert or hot biome, even a savanna, you will get a multiplier that is greater than 1. If you're in a cold environment, or here we are in forest hills, hopefully you can see that all right. We're in forest hills, and because of that, we actually have a bit of a negative. I don't know what will happen if this magical forest biome, when it finally gets out that far, if it will. My understanding is that it should continue to increase in size. If and when that happens, it may or may not change. I really don't know what's going to happen at that point. But anyway, so also in order to make sure that this thing stayed full of water, I added a second reservoir. You can see here we're at maximum temperature, and our brine production is pretty quick. You can see the numbers here, but it also cannot keep up with the system actually running at capacity. But we do have plenty of power from those 4 solar panels. Because this thing has been running for so long, including through the night, is that an elite? Yeah, this elite energy cube has used up a good portion, but it's still nowhere near drained. So one of the next things we need to do is we need to get all of these shards back to our base. Now, I could go ahead and I could have it come out of here, and I could have all the other machines here, but I was thinking that I might want to actually take this system and I could basically pipe things over, but maybe we will just go ahead and we'll continue along here. But there are a couple of things that I really need to get over here from the rest of the base. Number one of those is going to be the sulfur for the chemical oxidizer. Let's do that first, because I do have a definite way that I want to do this, and you'll notice that the chemical oxidizer only has an input on one side. You cannot change the inputs or outputs like you can the other machines. And you know, that's fine, because these are very specific machines that you know, need to function in a certain way. Some of these other machines, they're a little less specific, like the chemical injection chamber. It doesn't really care how the hydrogen chloride gets in there. It doesn't really care what side the crystals come in, and it doesn't really matter what direction you want to pull it out from. Everything is basically happening internally, where this hydrogen chloride is being mixed with these iron crystals to output the iron shards. Whereas the chemical crystallizer, it needs the slurry coming in from a specific direction. It needs to flow through all of what it does, and then it needs to pull out the crystals. With a chemical washer, you have to supply water to a certain part of it. Your dirty slurry comes in, it washes everything, and your clean slurry comes out. Your chemical dissolution chamber, again, these are, you know, your highest tier machines, so they have a specific way in which they have to function. You know, it makes sense. Kind of like with the electrolytic separator, you pipe water in. You do have a couple of options on how the water gets in, but as far as your hydrogen and your oxygen, if you've ever done electrolysis where you put an electrical charge into water to separate it through this process, which I did in high school in my chemistry class, then the way it works is you put the current in and you get hydrogen on one side and oxygen on the other, and that's just the way it is. You can't swap them. So that's kind of seen here in that oxygen comes out on one side and hydrogen comes out on the other, and that's just the way it is. which, you know, is kind of cool. And then with your infuser, you've got two different things coming in, on one on each side, and then right out of the middle is where the stuff you want is. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and get to how we're going to help automate this. And then I do want to talk about what some of the updates, what's been done, what I've done, and then how that's affecting the way everything's working. I am going to go ahead and sleep because I need that brine production to continue at maximum right now. So there's a couple of things that I need to do, so let's get that started. I also wanted to say sorry I haven't streamed in a while. Last month I had a procedure done on my spinal column, which was supposed to help me with my back pain. Unfortunately, that procedure was not successful, and since that procedure, I've been having a lot of headaches. Sometimes they last a couple of days, and so the last 2 days I was totally out of it with this headache, and nothing I do helps the pain to go away, so I just kind of have to wait for it to go away. So finally it's gone, so I'm doing a stream to kind of, you know, show what's been going on. So we've got, is that Bobo or Bobo 52101? I guess welcome to the broadcast. We are going over some upgrades to the system here. You're welcome to chat with me here while I'm going. Feel free to ask any questions. So I also upgraded this to an obsidian chest because I need a lot more space. So I have one barrel left. I need to make some more. And do I have any wood in here? No, but I do have plenty of chests. And let's see. Need some of these. This goes here. Okay, so I've got two barrels here, and what I need to do is I need to empty out this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop this one down here and get all this sulfur dust out of here. And we're going to go and put it all in here. And we're going to wipe that off. So it's just a normal one. I need to get 2 upgrades. So I'm going to need some more fences and some iron. Oops. Let's see, is that going to be enough? Nah, we'll just do it all. Doesn't really matter. Okay, then we need 2 of these. Okay, this gives us 2 structural level 1s, so we're going to put one of them here. And then I need another... Well, I'll wait and do the other barrel on the other side. Hello, BG Beast. Let's go and get some iron. Because I need to make 2 tier 2 upgrades as well. So, for those of you that aren't familiar with Java, with the barrels, you need to add structural upgrades before you can actually apply the size upgrades. So that's what we're working on here. Alright, so I've got 2 of these now, so one of these needs to go on here, and the next thing we're going to do is, if I bring up the upgrades, we're going to make what's called a B-space upgrade. So with this we need 2 ender chests and 4 pistons. So it looks like you can use any ender chest. By default it uses the vanilla ender chest. So here it's not really going to make any difference let's go ahead and grab... So we're going to need 2 ender pearls. We're going to need some blaze rods. We're going to need some obsidian. And we're going to need some wool. It's not going to matter what color these are because it's going to be turned into the B-Space upgrade anyway. So if we go with this, and I can't, it's not going to let me click on that to show it. That's all right. So I know the ender chest is, hello, Gamineer. Actually, let me look up the ender chest here real quick. Alright. So yeah, it's just 2 obsidian. So let me grab a couple of chests. Alright, so like I said, we're just going to make these generic colored because it doesn't matter. Because it's just going to be turned into an upgrade. So, the B-Space upgrade, now we need to get 4 pistons. And do I still have iron? No, I should have grabbed a stack of it. Okay, you go there, there. Do I not have any cobblestone? Alright, and then I just need some planks. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is 2 of these for each. And that gives us 2 of our B-Space upgrades. Now the B-Space upgrade requires 2 slots, which is why I had to put a Mark II on here, because you can see now there's 1 available upgrade slot. I can put a size upgrade on there if I want, but I'm not going to need that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these upgrades, and we're also going to need what is called a tuning fork. So I don't think there's any other forks in the game, so we'll just go with this. So the B-Space tuning fork, 3 iron, and an ender pearl. So that's nice and simple. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll place the other one first and show you how I'm going to run this. So the main thing is we need to get the sulfur over here into our mechanism processing plant. And to do this, we're going to take our better barrel, and it doesn't matter which way it's facing. So we're going to put our better barrel here. Then we need a tier 1 structural upgrade. Didn't I make 2 tier 2 structural upgrades? I thought I made 2 of them. Did I only grab 1? Thank you, Gamineer. He told me that I have a nice base. Well, I'll give you more of a tour here in a minute. I just want to get this sulfur sent over there. Okay, so I thought for sure I made 2 of the tier 2 structurals. Alright, let me go ahead and get 4 more iron then. And then from there, I just need... it's not going to be enough, is it? Nope. Oh yeah, it is. Good. Okay, so there's our second tier 2 structural upgrade. Alright, back down into our mechanism area. So, Now we apply the Tier 2, and then we're going to put the B-space upgrade on it. Now we take our tuning fork. Oops. I don't think that's going to go in there. So, okay. There we go. So it's a shift right click. The fork starts resonating. So now we're going to run over to the other B-space barrel. And if we shift right click here, the barrels are resonating together. Nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sulfur, I'm going to put the sulfur in there, and now it's locked, so only sulfur can go in. And now you'll see it counting down, because at the other side of my base, it's being pulled out of the other barrel from the hopper. So now we just grab all of this, and we're going to throw that in there, and that will keep us supplied with sulfur dioxide.